and they claimed humans had no natural weapons. She crushed the training drone with her bare hands. HFY, the species without weapons. The galaxy had cataloged over 4,000 intelligent species. Some possessed claws capable of slicing reinforced alloy. Others carried venom powerful enough to stop the hearts of creatures 10 times their size. There were species born with armored hides, razor-sharp horns, electrified tails, sonic screams, or muscles dense enough to shatter stone. Every civilization had evolved a weapon, every civilization except humanity. For centuries, the Galactic Alliance listed humans under a single embarrassing classification. Natural offensive capability, none. The report became famous. Military academies quoted it during lectures, children memorized it in school, even merchants joked about it while traveling between systems. Humans were clever, humans were adaptable, humans built remarkable machines. But remove their technology, and they became nothing more than fragile creatures with soft skin and empty hands. Or so the galaxy believed. Far above the Orion frontier floated the Helios Military Academy, the most prestigious combat institution ever constructed. It was less a school than a small artificial world. Massive silver rings rotated around its central sphere, creating gravity for thousands of cadets from hundreds of civilizations. Inside its endless corridors, future admirals, commanders, diplomats, and elite warriors trained together. Only the strongest graduated. Only the exceptional became legends. Every year, only a handful of exchange students from younger civilizations were invited. This year, Earth had sent one. The transport shuttle docked quietly against Platform 12. Its hatch opened with a hiss. Alien cadets barely looked up. Most expected another towering predator. Instead, a young woman stepped onto the platform carrying one travel bag. She wore the simple dark blue uniform of Earth's Defense Initiative. No armor, no visible weapons, no biological enhancements, just calm gray eyes and dark hair tied neatly behind her head. Her name was Lieutenant Elena Carter, 26 years old. Former rescue officer, former engineer, former survival instructor, and completely unaware that nearly every student around her already considered her the weakest person at the academy. A pair of towering instructors approached. One belonged to the massive reptilian Corn Dominion, standing nearly 3 meters tall. Natural bone blades extended from both forearms. The other instructor came from the insectoid Valari collective, whose forearms moved with perfect mechanical precision. The reptilian officer glanced at Elena's file. "So," he rumbled. The human. Elena smiled politely. "Lieutenant Elena Carter, reporting as ordered." The instructor looked at her hands. Soft, unarmed, unremarkable. His heavy brow lowered. No claws. No. No venom glands? No. No reinforced skeleton? No. No combat adaptations? Elena answered with the same calm expression. "Not that I'm aware of." Several nearby cadets laughed. The reptilian closed the data tablet. This should be educational. Within hours, the rumor spread through the academy. The human had arrived. Students crowded cafeterias, observation decks, and training halls simply to catch a glimpse. Whispers followed her everywhere. "That's the human? They're much smaller than I imagined. Where are her weapons? I heard their military fights entirely through machines. My professor said humans can't survive close combat. They're engineers. They're builders. Definitely not warriors." Elena heard every word. She ignored all of it. Orientation began the next morning. Nearly 300 cadets assembled inside an enormous amphitheater overlooking the academy's primary combat arena. Floating holograms displayed each species' evolutionary strengths: massive claws, protective shells, acid projection, shock organs, adaptive camouflage. Every presentation ended with applause. Finally, humanity appeared. A rotating hologram of an ordinary human body floated above the stage. The room grew strangely quiet. The instructor cleared his throat. Species, human. Homeworld, Earth, natural weapons. He paused, just long enough for the audience to smile. None. Laughter echoed across the chamber. The hologram continued rotating. No claws, no armor, no venom, no natural blades, no enhanced bite force, no biological projectile organs. The instructor folded his arms. Humans compensate through intelligence, engineering, cooperation, and persistence. One cadet raised a claw. So without equipment, they're harmless? The instructor nodded. According to every biological assessment conducted by the Alliance, yes. Almost every alien looked toward Elena. She simply continued taking notes. That evening, the first practical evaluation began. Not combat, observation. Cadets were instructed to examine one another and identify obvious evolutionary advantages. Groups quickly formed. The Korans displayed their bone blades. The Valari demonstrated impossible reaction speeds. The Drask cracked titanium blocks using their tails. The Aquari released electrical pulses through water-filled tanks. Every species proudly displayed something extraordinary. Eventually, one curious cadet approached Elena. He belonged to the elegant Averan species, tall beings covered in shimmering silver feathers. He tilted his head. "May I examine your hands?" Elena nodded. He gently lifted one, turned it over, studied the fingers, flexed them. His expression became increasingly confused. "Where are the hidden blades?" "I don't have any." "The retractable claws?" "No." "The pressure glands?" "No." "The toxin sacs?" She smiled again. "No." The Averan looked genuinely concerned. "How do your people defend themselves?" Elena thought for a moment, then answered quietly, "We usually find a way." The alien blinked. That sounded less like confidence and more like a promise. High above the arena, hidden behind reinforced observation glass, the Academy's senior command watched every interaction. Commander Reth of the Quran Dominion folded his massive arms. The human appears physically unimpressive. A scientist beside him nodded. Exactly as expected. Another officer zoomed in on Elena's medical scan. No natural offensive adaptations whatsoever. Commander Reth looked down at the training floor. Then why did Earth's Defense Council insist on sending her? Silence filled the observation room. No one had an answer. Far below, Elena stood alone for a moment, staring across the vast combat arena where generations of the galaxy's greatest warriors had earned their names. Around her, countless alien cadets believed they already understood humanity. They saw empty hands, they saw soft skin, they saw weakness. None of them had yet learned the oldest lesson in human history. A species does not survive the impossible for thousands of years without becoming a weapon itself. The Academy's first lesson morning arrived beneath the artificial sunrise of Helios Military Academy. Golden light spilled across polished corridors, reflecting from towering banners that carried the insignias of hundreds of civilizations. The station never truly slept, but the beginning of a new training cycle always carried a different energy. Cadets hurried through the halls with purpose, eager to prove themselves. For Elena Carter, it was simply another day to learn. She adjusted the sleeve of her Earth Defense uniform and quietly followed the stream of students toward Combat Hall 3. Every conversation around her stopped as she passed. Then the whispers began again. "That's the human, the one without natural weapons. I heard her skeleton isn't even reinforced. She'll never survive the first combat exam." Elena ignored them. Years earlier, during rescue operations on Earth, she had learned that people often underestimated quiet individuals. Sometimes that worked in her favor. Today would be no different. Combat Hall 3 stretched nearly half a kilometer from end to end. Massive gravity generators surrounded the room, capable of changing terrain and environmental conditions within seconds. The floor shimmered with holographic grids. Observation platforms floated high above. Commander Reth stood at the center of the arena, his armored scales gleaming beneath the overhead lights. Without raising his voice, he commanded the attention of every cadet. "Today," he paused, "you will learn your greatest advantage." A holographic image appeared beside him. One by one, different alien species stepped forward. A Koran extended the massive bone blades that grew naturally from his forearms. They are born with weapons. The crowd nodded. Next came a Valari. Its forearms moved faster than most eyes could follow. They are born with unmatched coordination. Then came a Drask. The muscular alien struck a reinforced steel pillar with its tail. The pillar cracked instantly. They are born with overwhelming physical force. Species after species demonstrated gifts granted by evolution. Finally, Commander Reth looked directly at Elena, human. The entire arena turned toward her. She calmly walked to the center. Reth circled her once. Demonstrate your natural weapon. Silence. Elena smiled politely. I don't have one. Soft laughter echoed through the arena. Commander Reth nodded as if confirming something. Exactly. He turned toward the cadets. This, he gestured toward Elena, is what happens when intelligence evolves faster than biology. The laughter grew louder. One cadet whispered just loudly enough for everyone nearby to hear. So they're basically civilians. Even the instructor smiled. Elena remained perfectly still. The morning lesson continued with physical evaluations. Each cadet approached a series of testing stations. Strength, reaction speed, balance, grip force, jump height, bone density, recovery rate. Most species dominated one category while performing average in others. The Korans shattered strength records. The Valari broke reaction time records. The Avaran displayed impossible aerial balance. Then Elena's turn arrived. She wasn't the strongest, she wasn't the fastest, she wasn't the tallest. Her numbers rarely reached the top of the charts. Several cadets exchanged amused looks. Average, completely average. Humans really have nothing. But one instructor continued studying the data. Professor Lyra, a senior biomechanics researcher from the Lyran Scientific Union. Unlike the others, she wasn't laughing. She zoomed in on Elena's results, every category, above average, none exceptional, yet none weak. Strength, good. Speed, good. Balance, excellent. Endurance, excellent. Grip strength, very good. Reaction time, very good. Recovery, excellent. There wasn't a single weakness. Professor Lyra frowned. Interesting. Later that afternoon, the cadets gathered inside Tactical Simulation Hall. Unlike combat training, today's exercise required teamwork. Each squad would navigate a dangerous virtual battlefield. Natural abilities usually determine leadership. The Korans volunteered immediately. Our claws can cut through barriers. The Valari nodded. Our reaction speed makes us ideal scouts. The Drask claimed heavy assault positions. Within minutes, every role had been assigned, except one. No one looked at Elena. Finally, a feathered Avaran spoke. What can the human do? Silence followed. One reptilian cadet shrugged. Carry equipment? Several students laughed again. Elena simply raised her hand. I can repair damaged systems. Commander Reth nodded. Very well. You are support. The simulation began. Explosions echoed through holographic valleys. Alien drones attacked from every direction. The squad advanced confidently. At first, everything went according to plan. Then, disaster struck. A bridge collapsed beneath them, the team's navigation system failed, communications disappeared, their drone support crashed, panic spread almost instantly. The strongest warriors argued over who should lead. Everyone shouted. No one listened. Elena quietly knelt beside the damage control unit. Give me 60 seconds. Nobody answered. They were too busy blaming one another. She opened the panel, disconnected 3 burnt circuits, rewired 2 damaged power lines, restarted the system manually. 53 seconds later, the navigation map returned, communication stabilized, drone support rebooted. The entire battlefield changed. Commander Reth watched from above. Who restored the network? An instructor checked the logs. The human. Reth remained silent. The squad completed the mission with the fastest recovery time recorded that month. Yet as they exited the simulator, no one thanked Elena. Instead, one cadet shrugged. Technology saved us. Another laughed. Exactly. Without machines, He looked directly at Elena. Humans still have nothing. She smiled politely. Maybe. That evening, Elena visited the academy gym. Unlike the crowded combat halls, this place remained almost empty after sunset. She preferred it that way. No spectators, no whispers, just quiet. She began with simple stretches, then pull-ups, push-ups, balance exercises, grip training. Nothing extraordinary, nothing dramatic, just consistent practice. Professor Lyra happened to pass the observation window. She stopped, watched. Humans trained differently. There were no displays of dominance, no roaring, no aggression, only repetition, hundreds of precise movements, each one slightly improving the last. Lyra quietly recorded a note. Species exhibits unusual behavioral persistence. She continued watching. An hour passed, then another. Elena never complained, never slowed down, never looked bored. She simply kept improving. Professor Lyra whispered to herself, "Perhaps we've been measuring the wrong thing." Meanwhile, inside the cadet lounge, confidence filled the room. Tomorrow would begin close-quarters combat orientation. One Keratin slammed his fist onto the table. "I hope they don't pair me with the human." Another laughed. "Why?" "I don't want to accidentally break her." Across the room, another student joked, "They should issue humans emergency armor before training starts." More laughter. Only one cadet remained quiet. The silver-feathered Averin, who had examined Elena's hands on the first day. He remembered her answer, "We usually find a way." There had been something unsettling about how calmly she had said it. Not arrogance, not fear, certainty. He couldn't explain why, but for the first time he wondered if the Academy's textbooks might have overlooked something important. Far above them, hidden behind reinforced observation glass, Professor Lyra reviewed Elena Carter's training records once more. No natural weapons.